drinking water from a mom mug. It says mom on it. I have one that says dad, but it's dirty. So I had a chance to see A Quiet Place day one, and instead of talking about that film, because there's so many videos about people specifically talking about Quiet Place at day one, I thought that I would talk about the Quiet Place series as a whole, because watching A Quiet Place day one, I realized how versatile the franchise is, and I have some things to say about it. When I first saw the trailers for A Quiet Place day one, which I have no shame in saying so, because it's kind of just my opinion, but I was not excited for it. I saw the trailers and I was just like, okay, it looks watchable. I will watch it. But it wasn't until further into release whenever I started hearing people talk about the film. And it wasn't even necessarily some of the praise that it was getting, because I had heard some mixed things, but overall, everything was generally favorable. It was more so what people were saying about A Quiet Place as a series as a whole. And what that is how versatile the series is and how many things can be done with it. Because the first Quiet Place film took me off guard. I mean, it was just the first 10 minutes of the first Quiet Place film was probably some of the best I've ever seen in terms of an opening scene, where that scene could have just been a short film on its own and ended on like one of the craziest moments like ever. Would have been pretty badass. And the second Quiet Place film was pretty strange because it ended up doing something that the first film was not able to do and go bigger. And when I say that, I mean the first film just wasn't able to, because, you know, it wasn't an established franchise. Nobody knew how much money it was going to make. And it just proved where, you know how some films, when you watch it, they'll end up going more big and ambitious with it, and then it kind of just ruins the whole charm? That's what I mean by that when I say that A Quiet Place Part 2 was able to do something the first one couldn't do, and surprised me, because I thought the first Quiet Place movie was kind of essentially a perfect film, and that's just from the premise alone. And then the second one just went bigger and bolder, and it kind of just proved that it really doesn't matter what you do with this franchise, there's always something to do with it. And that's what I really loved about it. And everybody has been wanting to see, you know, A Quiet Place day one, you know, what was going on during the first day. And setting it in New York was pretty interesting. Like, I can sort of see where people were coming from with that, because, you know, New York is kind of really loud, which of course you could have said it in like Los Angeles or Chicago or even just a smaller city, really, because I mean, they're all noisy. And the thing is, these creatures, even if you like just toot a little bit, like they're going to hear you. So there's so many different things that could be done. You know, when I think of some scenarios for A Quiet Place, I think it would be really cool for, you know, something like take a Cloverfield approach, where do something completely different with the franchise, where you make a film where people know that these things are coming, because you know that NASA or whoever saw that this was coming towards Earth. And I just think it would be very unique for them to sort of see their perspective on it. Or maybe follow a family where it's just another side story for A Quiet Place, and you're following the family, but it turns out one of the dads or the moms were a part of NASA, and it kind of cuts back and forth to them knowing that they've been coming the whole time. And get what I'm saying? Or maybe it would be really cool to actually have like a war film where a war is going on, a battle is going on, taking place, and these things come down, you know? Or it could literally be a cat and mouse game of maybe a woman running away from a serial killer, and this just so happens to happen, and they both have to be really quiet. I mean, isn't that crazy? No, but seriously, there's so many different things that you could do with it. And that's what I love about this franchise so much, where I think it should keep going. I think it should keep going. Even if they make one that doesn't hit, keep going with this, because this whole premise is so interesting. And I like it. And that's just what I wanted to talk about for a little bit, because instead of just talking about Quiet Place at day one, I just wanted to talk about the series as a whole and how much that they could do with it. And I think it would be really cool to just give a bunch of different filmmakers, you know, free reign to sort of tell their own story in this universe. I think it would be very unique, unique. So yeah, that's just where I'm getting at with it. I think there's so many different possibilities for this franchise. I want to see it. I do want to see the original Quiet Place, you know, finish off. Like, I'd like to see A Quiet Place Part 3, and then kind of just, you know, maybe probably end it there, so that way you don't kind of stretch it out, milk it. And then do what you want with the series. You know, one thing that they could probably do with A Quiet Place is they could probably do like a really cool, almost Black Mirror kind of thing, where it's almost like an anthology miniseries or kind of show where it's just different stories in the Quiet Place universe, because they're already doing a video game for A Quiet Place, which I'm super pumped about. But there's a lot of things that they can do with this. I'm pumped for it. Let's see what you got. Let's do it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. If you guys want to check out my filmography, definitely do so. You can click on my link tree down below. It would mean a lot to me. You can also leave reviews on Letterboxd and IMDb. It helps me so much as a filmmaker. I love that feedback. Also, if you want to reach out, if you're a filmmaker too, always looking to meet new people. But anyway, guys, let me know your interesting Quiet Place premise down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.